Well guys, in this episode I'm going to show y'all how to catch fish in the wintertime in Louisiana. Guess if we can call this part 2. As you can see just how shallow it is. I mean, if there's any fish in here, we're going to see them. I think there's some right ahead of me actually. So I'm going to start with what worked the last time, and that is this little H&H grub. Ooh, just had a hit. That was fast, y'all. I think what I'm seeing is trout. In super shallow water. Oh, there's one. What is this? It is, y'all. Oh, it got off. I think the camera saw it. These fish that I'm seeing swim around are trout, and they're in super shallow water. That was about a 17-incher. Well, we've been fishing for about 5 minutes, and already I'm getting close to personal best in terms of trout. Just put my power pole down. I should have known that was a trout and had the net ready. Oh well. Honestly, this trip is, I've talked about it on this channel before. I don't like to make a lot of noise about the fact that I have ADHD, but sometimes I just very clearly do. And today is one of those times. I've mentioned before, a lot of times when I go fishing, and it's been, ooh, I just had another hit. Let's say it's been a couple weeks since the last time I went fishing. It feels like I'm fishing for the first time. Oh, there's one. Often. These are trout. This is another big trout, y'all. Look at me. I'm just talking about not having my net ready. I mean, these are big trout. We just got here. Look at this. Yeah, that one wasn't getting out. Look at this monster trout. $18. That's the second one of the day. We've only had 2 hits. I'd bet anything the first one was the same size. And they are in like 10 inches of water. Unbelievable. What a start to the day. Being kind of loud. Well, let's recap. I mean, we've literally just got started and I'm already doing a recap. But such is how it's going today. Let me get this wind knot out first. Okay. I think there's a fish on. So, let me explain why we're fishing here and why we're even fishing today at all. I'm fishing here because this is actually the place where I've caught my personal best trout. And that was in February of last year. But this year the winter's been colder than it's been in a while, in a lot of winters, I guess you would say. And so I figured, well, why not try this area that I've caught my biggest trout in during cold weather? And you can see already it's paying off. And the reason why I think these trout are in this really shallow water, this whole area behind me, you might have seen as I was pushing my way in, it's 10 to 2 inches deep. And in the last episode, I talked about temperature gradients. And to reset what that is, this water here, it's right about dead noon right now. This water here is going to warm up a lot faster than the water behind me. Reason being, there's just more sun on this, and it's a really, really large, shallow area. As I was pushing in, I saw some fish scatter. Couldn't tell what they were because they were kind of white, silverish in color, and I just didn't fully believe that that would be trout, but I was wrong. We're catching them in this shallow water. But it's been a few casts, haven't had a bite yet. But what an amazing start. I'm gonna cast a few more times and then we'll just start drifting. There's another. Oh, it got off. That was also definitely a trout. They're in this shallow water right here. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this. You can kind of see where they are. There's a... Yep, there it is. If this is a trout, it is an absolute monster. I need to loosen my drag. Is it still on? Yes, it's still on. It's just swimming towards us. I mean, it hasn't come up yet. It could be a red. It's starting to fight kind of ready. I don't see it. Definitely a red. Don't feel like I got a really good hook set on it. Look at that. Y'all, we have been fishing for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Oh, this would be the perfect eating side. I can't even speak right now. This would be the perfect eating size red if we were keeping fish, but I'm not. I kind of knew I'd be catching fish because I've got no pressure. But all right, so we've hooked 2 trout for sure. I think 3 and 1 got off, 2 got off, and now a red. And I can see where they are. I hope my audio is not too bad. It is pretty windy, but I think my windshield, wind cover, whatever it's called, is doing all right. But you can kind of see, I hope my GoPro's picking it up, there's a different texture in the water right here, and that's fish. They're holding up and they're just kind of swimming around, and it alters the waves of the water. This is one of those things that I honestly don't know how I would teach. It's probably not coming out on camera. Oh, there's another hit. My gosh. Yeah, it's probably not coming out on camera, what I'm seeing, but you know, over the 1.5 to 2 years I've been doing this channel and the 4 years that I've been fishing seriously, this is one of the key things I look for anywhere that I fish. You can actually see where they are if you can understand how to read the water. So just had another hit. I think I'll do a 5 cast rule since this seems to be kind of a hot spot. Oh, there's one. Another red. This is so much fun, y'all. This is the first spot of the day. Well, guys, if you want to catch fish in the wintertime, this is all you got to do. This one swallowed it too. I mean, it's cold and they obviously have a ton of energy. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable action. I really hope it's coming out on camera. I mean, you can see right where they are, even though you can't see the fish. And it's just lure. This has to be the best wintertime lure in these conditions. It's a little H&H grub. It's maybe 2.5 inches. It looks surprisingly good in the water. And this particular grub has gone through maybe 20 fish now, and it's holding up fantastic. I got that. But just listening, there's definitely fish that way. I'm pretty sure there's more that way. I think we just found some fish. So I don't know if that came out just now. The last cast, I got a wind knot. And so this cast, I altered my casting motion. There's another hit. No wind knot. So generally, this goes for any time of year. The wind higher is going to be stronger than the wind lower. So if you're fishing with a bait caster and you don't want those knots, cast sidearm like that. That's one. Gotta be a red. Yeah. Yeah. Not as big a red as the others, but it is pulling hard. My left arm's already worn out. You can see with this fish though, when I get them around here, they tire out pretty fast because they're fighting me and the current. Wow, this might be the prettiest one yet. And it is a pretty nice size, probably a 22 incher. It's a male, it's drumming. Man, it was hooked good too. I don't think I've done a thumbnail pick yet, so let's do that. Wintertime fishing in Louisiana. You know, I was thinking driving up, why do I drive all the way to Hopedale in the wintertime? I can fish Lake Pontchartrain. It's 2 blocks away from my house. This is why. And this is a good moment to thank the person that made this trip even possible, and this video possible. Holden, I'm not going to say his last name, but if you look here, I forgot my wallet. It's kind of what I was saying earlier. Every time I go fishing, it's been 2 weeks since I've been. Feels like it's the first time. And yeah, today I forgot my wallet, which means I wasn't able to put gas in the boat, which is okay. I wasn't going to go far anyway, but good thing we found these fish right here, because if we didn't find these, I really can't make a run because I don't know how much gas I have. But yeah, I met him and his cousin at the launch. They were kayak fishing. They caught a bunch of trout right at the Hopedale launch. I will say that is a good spot to catch trout in the wintertime, but leave that for the kayakers. But either way, I talked to them. I shared some other spots that they could get to via kayak that I used to catch a lot of fish at. I don't touch those spots anymore, even though I could, because I try to leave those. There's another one. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. I mean, this is unbelievable action. Redfish number 4 Been fishing all of 20 minutes. Now, look at that. That popped out of its mouth. I was just about to say, there's a reason I don't boat flip fish a lot. That's why. 3-spotter on this side. Probably the smallest one yet. I need to start tagging these fish again. Redfish number 4. Kind of out of words already. This reminds me of the first fishing trip I ever went on that I can remember, at least in the marsh. It's not my first saltwater trip that I'm remembering right now. It's my first. There's one. Look at this. Oh, I got off too. Oh. It was just like this, and we had 2, maybe 3 boats, each with 3 or 4 people in it. One after another, using this lure, and I was 7, 8, or 9. I don't know. It was, 20 plus years ago, almost 30 years ago. Actually, 30 plus years ago. I mean, I can't do math anymore. You turn 40, your brain starts to slow. But yeah, and I remember the first 2 redfish I ever caught. They were on this lure. We were fishing with, my dad had found these reels. They were great for a little kid learning how to use spin caster. They had a little clip, and you would clip like that, and it would put the line under your finger, and it would flip the bail all at once. And anyway, we were fishing with that, and it was the first time I saw a fish take drag. It was the first time I saw a redfish. The first one I landed was 25 inches, and the second one was 24. I'll never forget that. It was the first time we measured fish in inches and not pounds. And the second fish, we got it in the boat, we netted it, and I went to pick it up by the line, and the line broke. I'll never forget that. It was that close to losing that fish. It was a day like today. Brutal cold, brutal wind, super low water. That was a hit. But golly, I mean, I'm just getting thumped, y'all. These are the conditions, to me, the best conditions for redfish. And they're not bad for trout either, as we saw. And we haven't even made our way through this bayou. This is crazy. All right, 3 more casts in this area. I'm getting thumped, but no hook sets, so we'll see. There's one. I mean, I must have thrown right in that fish's mouth. This has to be a trout. Or it's a very small red. I think it's a trout. It is. Look at this. Look at this. This is another 18-inch trout. Y'all, I'm catching these in like 10 inches of water. In the last episode I released, I called it a temperature gradient. I don't remember what the word was that my dad used, but it's an area where the temperature stays real steady, real calm. Now, I don't think what I'm describing is that. What I'm describing is an area where the fish can go and warm up really fast and then get back to an area like that. And that's why these flats that are connected to bayous in the winter times, deep bayous, this is a 8 to 12 foot bayou behind me. If you come dead noon, you fish this shallow water, you can find fish holding up right there. I mean, I can't even talk right now because it's warming them up, and they need that to have the energy and metabolism to feed. I mean, there's another. Look at this. I mean, it's just crazy. It's every cast, and it's a hyper specific spot. And this is one of those spots where you really, you have to learn to read the water. The water. But if you can learn to read the water, you can do this every single time. I would say it's probably there's a hit. Oh, God. This is one of those times where a popping cork would work. I mentioned that in the last episode. Because they are hitting it basically as soon as it hits the water. They hear it. They probably can't see too good because the water is really, really dirty. But as soon as it hits, if I can get it within 3 feet of the little area they're in, I'm going to get popped. I mean, just standing here in this wind, I'm sure it's coming out on the mic. There's one. Golly. This is so much fun. But either way, the wind's so strong right now, it's almost blowing my cap off. Look at this. It's like, what, every 2 or 3 casts? Oh, it's a rat. Probably was a keeper last year. It's a rat now. But as if I need to add more words to this trip. Right here around this point, you can see the water wrapping around. Right here, right in front of me, right behind the boat. And right here. It's 3 channels. They're not deep. They're maybe 2 feet deep, maybe less. They're something my boat can get in, but most boats can't. Anyway, those are the avenues these fish are taking to go deep water to shallow water. And you can find these spots really all over the map. You just got to look for relatively large duck ponds that have bayous that I would say have sharp bends or turns. Those bayous are usually going to be the deepest. All you need in the wintertime. There's some oyster shells somewhere in the mix, and you're doing even better. Hard to believe, but this muddy river was a crystal clear stream just a couple days ago. Anyway, yeah, really weird jump, right? Why did I jump to this so fast? It's the Christmas holidays. I recorded this trip a couple days before Christmas, and then we headed out going to Tennessee, where I am now. While editing this, I kind of realized this should really be 2 videos. So this one is me fishing the flat. I talk about it in the episode. Flats connected to deep bayous. The next episode will be the deep bayou episode. So y'all stay tuned for that. As always, if you enjoy content like this, like and subscribe. Happy New Year. I'll catch you later. See ya.